Hi guys, this is Kurt, Oscar November 7, Oscar Fox Fox. I hope you all have a lovely day. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a new piece of software that came available quite recently. And in this video, I will explain how you can interconnect this external software with your Thetis and replace the internal spot feature that I've been talking about in my series From Zero to Hero. It will give you much more flexibility, many more capabilities regarding the spot and the spots that you will see on your pen adapter display. Because we're going to use TCI, I will also explain you how you can interconnect your Thetis software with the Log4OM logging application. And as I know, Log4OM is one of the most popular logging software. I think it's useful to actually make the Thetis talk together with your Log4OM software. It's going to give you a very beautiful overall experience from all these different pieces of software, especially when they can talk with each other. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, so we're back and let's dive into it. We are going to do four things in this video. The first thing we will do is going to configure the Thetis software so it's compatible and it can start to talk with other external software. So we're going to enable the TCI. The second thing we will do is download and install Cluster-TCI-Bridge, which is the newest little piece of software made by Oscar Echo 3 India Delta Echo. And then the third thing we will do is also interconnect our Log4OM software with the TCI server that will be running within Thetis. And finally, at the end, a bonus, I will also explain you how you can make all these applications start up when you start up Thetis. So it's going to be completely one package when you start up Thetis, your software for logging, your TCI cluster bridge software, and it's going to be very easy and user-friendly in the future. So no need to start all these separate programs individually. So let's go into the Thetis software and I will go to setup. And let me just show you the setup by enabling it. And I will just get rid of with my own camera. So when you are in the setup menu, the first thing you will need to do is go to serial, network MIDI cat, go to network, and here you can see we have a TCI server feature. You just have to enable the server, okay? The second thing we are going to do, and I'll start from the top, is send the initial VFO state. This is actually to send the VFO information to in a later stage when we're going to talk about the Log4OM software. So it can also read out your current frequency. And this is for the input. So if you are using the Cluster-TCI-Bridge, you will also be able to retrieve the information or send the frequency information if you click on one of the spots in the Cluster-TCI-Bridge software, which is not really necessary because we will display the cluster information on the pan adapter, of course. I will also enable show TCI spots. So this is required because if you do not have the cluster TCI spots here, you won't be able to visualize the TCI spots that are coming in from the cluster TCI-Bridge software. And then I also enabled your own call. So type in your call sign right here and give it a color. I prefer to have it in red. It means that when I see somebody spotting myself, it will be displayed on the pen adapter and the waterfall with my call sign in red. So the next thing you will need to do, of course, is click OK. And the next thing you will have to do is disable the local spotting feature in Thetis. Now in my software here, I can see it's already disabled. But when I bring up the window, let me just explain you quickly how you disable it. Let me see, there you go. It should start to display now. Yep, there you go. So when you want to get the cluster information from the TCI interconnection, you have to disable the clusters or the spotting feature of Thetis. Make sure the reconnect at startup is disabled. Disable all these spotters here, and also be sure that this one is not connected. So in this case, it's connected. So I'm going to disconnect it. And I want to be sure that by not reconnecting it at startup, the cluster spotter from the internal feature of Thetis will not start again. Just keep in mind, if you have track on, you will be able to see, and you can see it in the background. You can also see the, let me just move this away. Yep, you can see also the gray line information. So I just leave it on in my case. So that's done. In this case, we have finished configuring the things that needed to be done in the Thetis software. Let us go to step number 2. So there you go. I fired up my Brave browser, and I just went to the website of Oscar Echo 3 India Delta Echo. So the website is Oscar Echo 3 India Delta Echo.com. And once you get to this page here, you will see the Cluster-TCI-Bridge right here. So all the credits, of course, goes to Ernst, who has written this little marvelous piece of software. And you just click on it, and it will bring you to the page of where you can download the Cluster-TCI-Bridge. So when you scroll down, you will see the download button here. Let me just get rid of my camera. And once it's downloaded, the next thing you need to do is just to click the download. There you go. And it will bring up the file, the next, or the installation file. So just double click it. It's the standard installation procedure. I don't need to explain this to you. So let's go through it very quickly. There you go. Click install. And it will install the software and bring up the, so launch the installer and bring up also the configuration right away. So the next thing you need to do is just type in your grid locator. So in my case, it's Juliet Oscar 20 Golf Sierra. And I am going to hide the window on close. Show the spotter country, no, sorry. Let me see, whatever. Okay, hide on startup. That's also one that I want to have. And I think we're okay. Show spotter on grid. That's okay. So that's it. The next thing I will go is to go to TCI. If you remember, the server in Thetis is running on the on the IP address 127.0.0.1. So let me just type that one in. And then the TCI port is going to be 50,001. So 50001. So the default TCI spot cluster color will be blue. You can change this later. I will leave it the way it is. And then the next thing is going to the telnet servers. My call sign here, I need to fill it in on 7 off. And the next thing I need to do is just type in the different telnet servers. So the cluster servers. I've been using Victor Echo 7 Charlie.net, I think it is. And I wrote .5, it should be 7. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 7374. And my username is on 7 off. So click on auto start, and this will start the, I have a mistake here, Victor Echo 7, there you go. And click on auto start here, so this will start the cluster connection right away. I recommend you to put 2 or 3 of them, ones that are close to your QTH. I've been using this one for quite a while because it's quite stable. And then you have the spot filters. So what this means is that you can actually filter all the spot information that will be displayed on your waterfall and your pan adapter by hiding the ones that you don't need. So I do not need the ones from 60 meter in my case, 30 meter. I'm not using either 8 or 6, and I will just disable all the rest because I have no interest in these spots. And I am a phone guy, so I don't need CW, I don't need the GT or FT8 or TTY, whatever. So I'm just going to disable them except for the FM and MFSK. I'm going to disable as well. So the spot colors, this will not be necessary to fill it in, but you can give it colors. It's very customizable. And when you define a specific color that you will have displayed here, it will bring this color into your Thetis pan adapter. Okay. So SWL, well, if you want to see the different radio stations on the HF band, you can enable it. I'm just enabling it because I find it funny to go and have a listen, see which radio stations are currently transmitting. And the ADIF. This is quite interesting. I recommend you to do so. So once you have your logging software, I want you to make an export in ADI file of your entire database of all the contacts you've ever made. So just export your database in ADI, so in ADIF file, and then rename that file and call it all dot ADI. So all.ADI. Take that file and drop it in the folder that we have copied earlier on, where you have this Cluster-TCI-Bridge installed. What does it do? When you have your contacts in the ADI format dropped in the same folder as Cluster-TCI-Bridge, it will display on your waterfall and your pan adapter the color of the station in green when you have ever spoken with this station before. I like to have yellow. It's my preferred way because we already have red as new DXCC. So when there is a new spot and this DXCC is one you've never worked before, it will display it in a yellow color. The new band, I will just give it something like light blue. It's not important to me. Or the new mode, I will just put it in gray. Also, for me, it's not too important. PST rotator could be useful if you have PST rotator software, because you can interconnect also Cluster-TCI-Bridge to your PST rotator application. And if you are clicking on one of the call signs in the Cluster-TCI-Bridge, you're going to be able to also rotate the rotor in the right direction when you click on the call sign. All the rest is not important for the sake of this video. So, and then you click on save and close. And when you display now Cluster-TCI-Bridge, let me bring up the window. You can see that we have a connection to the Hermes light. Okay. And it's trying to connect to this host here. So I guess I need to give another host. So I think maybe it's not correct. Maybe it's 23. So what I can do is go back to setup and go to telnet servers. And I think it might be port number 23. Let me just check if that's the right one. Click on save and close. And it's going to try to connect. Yeah, there you go. It was port 23. So sorry about that. So there you are. If I just now close my browser and I display my Thetis software, I will probably start to get these spots coming in. So you can see right here the spots coming in. Now, when we have configured the Cluster-TCI, when you close it, it's not going to close the Cluster-TCI program. It's going to minimize it. And especially if you do a restart of your computer, you might just still see it right here. But when you do a restart of your computer and then you launch it and close it, it will go into your icons that's in the, in the little icons next to the time of your computer. So, and you can see the spots coming in. So as you can see here, there is a spot on 1/8, so on 17 meters. So if I would go to 17 meter, logically we should see the spot. Now, yeah, we have it right here. There is a spot right here. Now, there is an important piece of information I haven't given to you, and this is ultimately important because otherwise you will bump into problems. When you go to TCI, and you will see here, disable extra JSON data in the spot. When you are using Thetis version 3.8 or prior to 3.8, you will have to get this one enabled. So you do not want to have the extra JSON information being sent to your Thetis software. If you happen to disable, so if you are sending extra information like it's right now to your Thetis and your version is 2.10.3.8, you won't see any spots appearing. And this is because there's extra information that's being sent but is not understood by the Thetis software. So once you have a newer version of the Thetis software, which is above 2.10.3.8, you will have to disable this to make it function or work again with your Thetis. So let me just close it down. It's important that you try to memorize this piece of information, because if in the future you start to continue to update your Thetis, suddenly the Cluster-TCI-Bridge won't be able to bring in the information on your software. So you can see there are some spots appearing. If I go to the spot, you will also be able to see who has made the spot. And if I right-click the spot, you will also be guided on your browser to the QRZ page. Now, what is the advantage of having Cluster-TCI-Bridge above using the internal spot feature? Is because once you go to version 3.9, there's going to be a lot of information that will be displayed. And I will show that right now. I'm going to go to a newer version of the Thetis software. This version that I will show you right now is specifically made for ANAM. We, as users of the Hermes Lite, have to wait a little bit longer. Rate, Mike India 0, Bravo, Oscar Tango, is currently working on the new version, but he has very few time during the summer, and he told me that he will start to work on it around September, so around this time of the year. So hopefully within a few weeks, or maybe in a month or so, maybe in a month and a half, we will have the newest version. And I expect that probably he's not going to release 3.9 or 3.10. It probably goes straight to 3.11 or even maybe 3.12. But you will see in the new version of Thetis, the spot information, the cluster information is very useful. Let me just show you. So there you are. Basically, I have now version 3.12, which is a beta version, and I wanted to show you what will come up regarding the spot information here in the newest version. Now, because I have switched to a new version, as I explained you before, I need to enable the information from the extra JSON of the data. So there you go. I just have done that. So save and close. And I'm just going to quickly get and retrieve the last. So if you want to do that, you can do that easily. You just go to send, and then you click here and show DX100. It will retrieve all the last 100 spots. And if we are a little bit lucky, there's going to be a spot in there that will pop up here on there you go. There you can see the spot appearing. And you can see this is useful. You can see that new spots will appear and will be flickering. So you can easily also hover over it. It will stop flicker once I start to go over it with my mouse. So let me just, minimize cluster TCI spot. You see there is a new one appearing right here. And if I go over it, you will also be able to check what's the age of the spot, what's the country, what's the continent, what is the heading for your beam, and etc., etc. So there's going to be a lot of useful information in future versions, but currently with 3.8 that we are using for the Hermos light, it's not yet available. And I do not recommend to go to the newer version that is specifically made for Anan, because pure signal won't work. And also you might have some ADC overloads. So there's a lot of incompatibilities between the newest version from Ritchie and the ones from RAID is the one that we should use. So the one specific for HL2. So the next thing I would like to do is I will fire up my normal Thetis again. Just hold on. Okay, there we are. We now have back on version 2.10, 3.8 for the HL2. Because I'm switching back and forth, I think it's good for you to see this, because you will also memorize this very well, that you need to enable and disable this feature here. So I need to enable it because I don't need the extra JSON information. So click on save and close. And the next thing I'm going to do is interconnect the Log4OM software with my Thetis software. So let me bring up the window of Log4OM. And as you can see, it says offline here. So let's do some magic and make this work. The next thing you need to do is go to settings, click on program configuration. And I don't want to have some clashes between the import of the cluster, because you can use also Log4OM to provide the cluster information and the spot information to the pen adapter. But the problem is, and this is why we use Cluster-TCI-Bridge, it's because there is no filtering capability. So it's going to in bulk send all the information to your Thetis software, and you will have a whole list of data and information that will appear. So to make things a little bit better, and also it does not have this extra JSON information built in. So this is why Cluster-TCI-Bridge becomes very interesting. So I'm going to go to cat interface, and in the settings here, you will need to select TCI protocol. So you just go and select this one, and then click on cat auto start. So as long as you do not enable this here, it won't start the protocol or the the TCI connection to your Thetis software. So click on TCI. And if it's not filled yet, you just have to type in 127.0.0.1, which is the local IP address of my computer. And you will also need to fill in the port. And obviously, we've done that earlier on in Thetis. So it's port number 50,001, so 50001. And just be sure that send cluster spot data to a radio interface is disabled. Once you've done that, click on save and close, and you will start to see the information appearing right here. Now the magic is that when I go now to any of these spots here, okay, you can just click on it. It will automatically go to that frequency, okay, and it will automatically also fill it into your Log4OM software. So you can see I clicked on this call sign Alpha 41 Romeo X-ray. It retrieved the information from the QRZ database. In my case, I'm using the QRZ database. I'm not going to explain, it's beyond the scope of this video. And here it will also fill in the information regarding the frequency and also the band information. So it's very useful. And you can also just see here the headings for your beam. So from now on, we will have the cluster information and the spots beautifully presented in our Thetis software. And when you click on any of them, it will automatically add it into the logging software. So it's very, very useful. It's one big package, and it just makes your life very, very simple. The next thing I want to point out is that I told you it's interesting to export your logbook into an ADI file and copy this ADI file into the folder where you have installed Cluster-TCI-Bridge. Remember, I asked you to make a copy of the path where the Cluster-TCI bridge is located and installed. So I'm just going to utilities, I think it is. And if I'm not mistaken, no, it's not under utilities. I think it must be, okay, there you go. It's in file, export ADIF, and I'm just going to export all my database, okay, and all the fields, okay, all the fields. So, and then I think you need to click here, and then you need to save this somewhere. It's going to be done on my desktop here, but I'll give it the name all, A-L-L-L, so A-L-L, and I will go to the folder where I have installed my Cluster-TCI-Bridge. So I go to, in my case, it's documents, and I go to Cluster-TCI-Bridge, it's right here. And then I have the Cluster-TCI-Bridge selected. The file is alt.adi, click on save, and it will export. And the next thing you need to do is just close it. I will bring this to my other screen again. I don't need log4om anymore. And I am going to explicitly exit the Cluster-TCI-Bridge, and I'm going to restart it. Because when I restart it, it's going to read all the call signs that's in my logbook. And from now on, when there is a new spot, it's going to automatically bring in the QSOs. And you can see it's doing it right here. I got about 5,000, 6,000 QSOs in my humble logbook. And there you go. It finished doing it. It will connect to the cluster. And now it will know which call signs we've spoken to before. And it will display it here in the list here on your pen adapter. So if I go back to setup, okay, let me bring up the setup screen for you guys. And once you are in setup, you can go to serial network MIDI-CAT, go to network here. I'm going to clear and click on this button here, clear, and you will see that all the spots that were already in my pen adapter are gone. And what you can do also is just bring back here, click on send, and then I'm going to select from this one here to download the 100 latest spots, and it will load it, and now it will start to provision the pen adapter with the new spots that are coming in. You don't need to do that, by the way. It's just to try to get the 100 latest spots, but apparently none of them are spots for the 20-meter band. So slowly but surely we will get these spots coming in. I see there's a spot on 10 meters. So if I would go to 10 meter, and let me see the spot here for a second. Yeah, that's on 448. I need to go down here. And you can see it, it's right here. The spot is right here. And I can see I've never spoken to this station because it's not in green. Remember, if you go here to setup and you have spot colors, sorry, ADIF settings, there you go. I had this in green. So if this would appear in green, it means that I've spoken to this gentleman before. But in this case, it's not the case. Let me just go over different bands. Maybe I'll find a spot where you will see it will be in another color. This is 15-meter band. None of them I've spoken before. And this is the 17-meter band. It is 20-meter. And unfortunately, I cannot give you an example. But basically, you will see it appearing in a specific color. So there you are. The last thing I want to explain to you is the automatic startup of all these side programs next to your Thetis. So you have one package. It's very user-friendly because when you have this auto start feature enabled within Thetis, you don't need to start your log4om. you do not need to start your Cluster-TCI bridge. Thetis will start it up for you automatically when you start Thetis by itself. So to do so, go to Setup here. Let me bring up the Setup menu for you again. And when you have the Setup menu, you will see here in General, Options, and Startup Options, the path to the different programs. So enable all these above here. So I have my Thetis start up completely, power on my Hermes light right away when it starts up. I do not want to start an application that's already started that's here in this list here. And I also want to close it when I quit Thetis. So these are the paths in my case, but in your case, it might be different. And as you can see, I've got log4om. I also have a registered version of the PST rotator, which I use because I have to interconnect PST or my rotator with the Thetis software. And then I also have Cluster-TCI-Bridge that will be automatically started and fired up when I fire up my Thetis software. And when I close Thetis software, it will automatically also close this program. So that's very useful. Okay, that's it. I hope this video was useful for you guys. Leave a comment. I know it's a little bit a long video, but there was a lot of things that I had to explain to you. I wish you 70 trees and hopefully meet you on the band. ON7 OFF going clear and QRT.